There's a lot going on in that parable we just heard. But it kind of sounds like Jesus is giving us a lesson on investing. You know what investing is? So some of you know, I'm going to tell you, just for those who don't know, investing is when you buy something with the sole purpose of keeping it for a while and allowing it to become more valuable. That the price of it goes up over time, and then later on you sell it, and then you make a profit on what you bought. So if I buy a pencil for $1 and I hold it for a year, it's a really good pencil, and a year from now it's worth $2, I can sell it and make $1. That's investing. Right? But that's not what the parable is about. It's not about investing. See, it is true that this master entrusted his wealth to his servants while he went away. Right? And then when he came back, he was pleased with two of the servants who handled that responsibility well. And he was displeased with one servant who didn't handle it well. The servants that he was pleased with, who handled it well, he called them good and faithful servants. And the servant who didn't handle that responsibility very well, he called him a wicked servant. But it really wasn't about the return on the investment. Right? So what the master was pleased with was that the good and faithful servants did the master's will. See, the master gave them a simple instruction, a very simple instruction. Take this coin and trade with it. Trade with it until I return. And the two good and faithful servants did that. They did exactly what the master asked. And then the other servant, the wicked servant, didn't do it. He got the same instruction. Take this coin and trade with it until I return. And out of fear, he defied the master. He said, I'm not doing that. Well, in the parable, the master represents God. And the servants represent us. And the master's wealth represents the gifts that God has entrusted to us. Now that wicked servant, he didn't do what the master asked him out of fear, but probably all of the servants had some fear. Right? It would be kind of scary for the master to say, here, you're in charge of this, my treasury, and trade with it while I'm gone. But the two wise and the two faithful servants acted boldly in spite of their fear. But that other servant gave into his fear and defied the master. Now, each of us have God-given gifts. Gifts that God has blessed us with. And God asks us to use those gifts for good. And we've already seen that in action in this Mass. Our cantor, our choir, using their gifts for good. Mrs. Rastovich, our altar servers and acolytes. Father Roga, on the anniversary of his ordination. All of them using their gifts, their God-given gifts, for good, to help us all to pray and give thanks to God more worthily at this Mass. But even outside of Mass, we have gifts to use for good. We use our gifts for good in school, at home, in our community, in the playground. All of your teachers, the teachers are using their God-given gifts for good to help you to learn. And so each of us has those particular gifts. But you know what? God has universal gifts that he gives to everyone in equal measure. Gifts like love. Gifts like compassion. And God asks each of us to use those gifts for good. To share God's love to everyone we encounter. Maybe there's a new student in your class who doesn't know anybody. You can share the gift of love with them by going up and introducing yourself. And say, hey, you want to play at recess with me? And make a friend. That's how we can use that gift of God's love for good. But you know what? Sometimes, fear can get in the way. Because you don't know that person. It's kind of scary to go over to them. Right? But God still calls us to do that. So we can be like those two servants who acted boldly, even though they were probably a little fearful, and go over and talk to that person anyway, even though we're a little fearful. Or we can be like that other servant who was fearful and said, I ain't doing that. Right? So today, we come together to share this most sacred meal. And we have a choice, each of us. We have a choice when we leave here today, how we want to respond to that call of God to share the love of God for good. We can be like the wicked servant and be kind of scared and let the fear keep us from doing anything. Or we can be like the two good and faithful servants and be bold. In spite of the fear we have, be bold and go out and share that gift of love. And so today, let's be bold.